Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I'm Cipher. I might have a concussion, and I'm having just a little bit of a hard time staying awake right now. So this is an emergency session of the Devil's Advocate Debate Club. Let's keep me awake, shall we? And how about we talk a little bit about love, and whether or not it's worth it to fall in love. Something which I think can be argued both ways. But first, let me say, as someone who's definitely experienced both sides and seen many people who have, I've lived life, looked for love for decades, that the line from the first Men in Black movie, from K to J, about it's better to have loved than lost than never to have loved at all, really holds true. Try it. Because if you can live your life happily without love, happiness can be enough. Love is certainly a goal worth seeking, but it's not worth destroying yourself over. Not if you don't need to. So, be sparing with your love. See, some people confuse liking people for love, or they talk about puppy love, which falling in love young can be real love, but that's not what most people mean when they talk about puppy love. The thing about truly falling in love, though, is you think it'll last forever, but if you lose that person, that piece of your love never really comes back. There's a piece of you that, it might shrink, you might get over them, learn to love again, and move on, but there's a piece of you that will always be missing because it's the piece that loved them, or a piece that will always love them. Otherwise, it probably wasn't real love to begin with, at least in my experience. And there'll be people who talk about, oh, I'm over them, and yeah, it's good to move on, but I don't know that you can ever truly be 100% over someone that you really love. So, look for better reasons to find a partner, because humans are a social species, and living your life alone might suit some people, but most of us will end up with someone, or at least would like to. But focusing on more practical things can lead to a concept a lot of Americans have problem with, which is pragma. It's a type of love experienced or talked about in other cultures. I actually can't remember. I think it's Indian or Hindu. I can't remember for sure right now. But pragma is the lasting love because it's based off of logical reasons, not emotion. And that's what makes it lasting. I think more people should, whether or not they fall in love in the traditional manner, look for someone who, has long-term qualities for them in a partner. When you're young, this is hard. It's very easy for your emotions to rule you. Very easy to fall in love for all of the wrong reasons. That's where love at first sight can be a dangerous thing. The movies teach you it's amazing, but love at first sight rarely lasts. It can. You might get lucky, but don't feel that just because you feel like it's going to last forever that it will. Don't rush into love, because once you've loved, it's kind of like, I've never done heroin, but I would assume it's similar to doing a extremely addictive drug, because it's hard to go back. And recognize that when you love, you're giving that piece of your heart away, and you'll probably never get it back. See, I spent decades looking for love, and never stayed single for long. Never really had any self-respect. There were things I was good at, and I recognized that. And there were a lot of people who even thought that I was prideful. But I really, really hated myself and didn't consider myself to be much good for anything. I was looking for a partner because I was addicted to love. I felt that I needed someone in my life to complete me. Because I think there's a certain biological imperative that gives us a drive. But being ruled by your emotions is... well, I mean, I know we are animals, but isn't that supposed to kind of be what separates us from the animals? Is that we can think things through and move on properly? Anyway, after decades of looking for love and bouncing from partner to partner, trying to complete myself through them, in a way, there's only one girl I can remember who ever might have had the qualities I could stick with. I guess two. And there were certainly reasons why we didn't last. But I ended up spending a majority of my life hating myself. And, one moment. Much as my father and many other people in my life predicted, it wasn't until I gave up on love and spent a couple of years working on myself, a prospect which terrified me. As in my younger days, the more that I thought about myself, the more depressed I got, and at one point in my life, even suicidally so. So it was something that I was not keen to return to. But once I managed to spend a couple of years working on myself and not falling in love, doing my best to keep myself at a distance from anyone who might be dangerous, it left me lonely. It left me with fewer friends, I think, than I've had at maybe any other point in my life. But after a while, eventually it started leaving me with some self-respect. I guess your capacity to love might grow as you grow older, as you get more experience in some ways, I think. The number of ways in which you can love someone grows as you learn the different heres and theres of the world. And a lot of my heart is gone to people I've loved in the past. I don't think that I'll ever get it back, but now that I've spent a couple of years growing and without loving anyone else, I guess I've finally been able to keep a little bit of love for myself. And I know a lot of people out there already love themselves. They probably are confused as to why this is even a problem, but I know that when I was younger, lots of people told me that I needed to focus on myself and not complete myself through love of somebody else or through my partner in any way. And they gave me reasons why, but never ones that I understood or didn't have an argument for. I mean, after all, I'm starting this channel on the concept that I have an argument for anything. But it wasn't until I'd succeeded in actually spending a couple years working on myself that I finally understand what they mean. And it wasn't until spending the last several months since I've pulled myself out of a decades-long depression that I finally did enough self-analysis to realize exactly how I came to this point, and hoped that I could share it with anyone who watches my videos and might find themselves in a similar position. So, if you're giving all of your love to someone else, or if you're giving away pieces of your heart bouncing from partner to partner, just know that there might be a semi-comfortable life there, but you're probably never going to find happiness that way, even if you do find love. What you should do is learn how to love, or at least respect, yourself. And that way you have something to really offer someone else. I mean, if you don't like you, why should anybody else? And if they do, you'll talk them out of it. I mean, if you really don't like you, if you hate yourself, the closer someone gets to you, and the more they actually try and get to know you, the more you convince them that you're worth hating because it's what you believe. And you're not. Or if you are, do some self-reflection and become a person who you can like. I make that sound easy, and it took me decades to come even close to achieving, and I'm not anywhere out of the woods yet, but I'm doing better than I have at any point in my life. I'm finally starting to accept myself, and a big part of that is coming to a new understanding of how and when to love, and when not to give away pieces of my heart. Anyway, I think I'm awake. I'm sorry that this video is probably terrible. I was really dazed there, but as soon as the tears stopped, I started falling asleep, and I thought you guys might help me out. So, thanks for listening to my rant on love. I'll end it with a song. Remember to like and subscribe. Have you ever wondered why we're here? What's it all about? You've no idea. Everywhere you look, all you see is hatred, darkness, death, and fear. But you know it doesn't have to be that I hate you and you hate me. 'Cause even though we're different, it doesn't make a difference, and we can live in harmony. I know you don't know who I am, but maybe I can hold your hand, and together we can understand about love. I'm your host, Lewis Cipher. Spread the love, and as always, thanks for watching the Devil's Advocate Debate Club.